She confessed about 7 people were in the room. She didn't say it in her CTC, right? She has been saying every other thing, but this is in Sahara Reporters. Based on what I read, she said that there were 7 people with the nurse and Mohbad in the room.
Hello everyone, welcome once again to WUNMi TV, still on justice for Mohbad. Guys, do we know that WUNMi, Mohbad's wife, has the answer to all the questions the entire world is asking concerning what by her husband? According to WUNMi's narrative, she said there were 7 persons in that room where Mohbad was given injection before he died. Now the question is that where are these 7 persons when everything became hot? Why was their name not mentioned during investigation or even come out to speak on how everything happened? The next is Mohbad's lawyer. You think Mohbad's father, Mr. Aloba, and Mohbad's lawyer, who supposed to know first that Mohbad is no more. It sounds somehow that Mohbad's lawyer was already in Mohbad's house before his father arrived. And that same lawyer is speaking for WUNMi to date. My country people, WUNMi, Mohbad's wife, has much to answer. She has never made any effort to seek for what by her husband because her role in Mohbad's life is different. Had it been Lagos State government did not exhume Mohbad's body, WUNMi, who claimed to be Mohbad's wife, couldn't have done anything or even asked for exhumption. Nobody wanted to go for DNA test at first, but it was WUNMi's attitude towards everything that made the world to start seeking for DNA test. Justice for Mohbad, justice for all. Let's listen to this voice.
That question mark. And things that happened thereafter, utterances, etc. Another question mark. And after you buried the guy, and you guys now began another fiasco. Your own sister came out accusing, casting aspersion on the father of the disease. And you acted as if you were not part of the scene. But from the time he was carried in the ambulance till you got to Ikorodu, you were part of them, the wife. You were at the morgue. You saw everything that happened. You saw the coffin. You saw everything. Why didn't you object?
Justice.
Why don't you say that as the wife, I put my feet down, he must stay in the mortuary? Okay, the mortuary rejected it. Let's go back to police station. Why did you, if it doesn't matter, we are very sure what poko meaning, things not poko meaning, or not good or reselling. Why don't you put your feet down? Why should it be after he's dead? That is when you are now making noise. People are fighting for you. Are you fighting at the right time? Or you are fighting at the late time? Why should it be the public that need to shout for him to be exhumed? Were you not the one that had the primary responsibility to have spoken to the authority for his body since you suspected he was killed? You see, these are questions. I'm not even talking about things that happen. So for me, why would you come out and tell people that if you know what my father-in-law has done, you will stone him to death? No, you don't need that. Everybody's grieving. So she has a primary responsibility, has the wife and the mother of his child, to ensure that someone injected my husband. Or let's put the assumption, someone fought with my husband when we went out, and that led to his death. It is not the public that should have called the attention of the authority to you. It is you. If not you, his brother was in the house. His cousin or nephew was in the house, or uncle. He's feeding all of you, and your breadwinner died like that, and none of you fought a week after he was buried to ensure this thing changed. What are we talking about? If the state did not exhume this body, do you think we will be where we are? They would have been doing investigation blindly. They would have. It is the exhumption of this body by the state that scattered the plan. Because I believe the plan was to be casting aspersion on different people that say, now you cause now you cause now you cause. If you know, say now you cause, why the person who injected the body in the first place, no day police custody, saying, oh, she was a quack nurse in the first place. Oh, she injected. Even if he had injury, does that mean you should kill him? If he had injury, can't you take him to a proper hospital for his injury to be treated so that he will be alive? At the end of the day, he will only have infection. Do you now have to bring a quack nurse to inject him and kill him, and you did not even, create sin and take the person to police station. So for me, these are questions. So it is left for people supporting or not supporting to look at the facts and ask the vital questions before we get to paternity or no paternity, before we get to what Mohbad sang about or not sang about. The beginning, where things done right. If they are not done right, you cannot begin to bring all those things to support your position. And this is what has happened. If there is no space on the wall, a lizard cannot penetrate. That is a space on the wall. You created the room. So deal with it. That is what I will say. Thank you.
Sorry, sir. Let me just quickly say, the aristocrat, I think I like your brilliant analysis, and I like all the angles you have exposed us to. I just want to digress a little bit, and I think our system has actually failed us. Because, like in a sane climb, if I take a dead body to the hospital, the first thing the hospital will do after certifying that body dead, they will call a police on that spot. In a sane climb. In a sane climb also, if the wife refused to call the police, people around who witnessed that death, in order to save themselves from any form of complicity, they will usually call the police. But you know why a lot of them will not call the police? Because even the person who calls the police on something he sees happening will be indicted by the police. It has happened to me, and it has happened to a lot of us. Probably we saw a crime scene, and we're trying to call the police, and the next thing they turn you to a witness of what you are just trying to report. That's number two. Then number three is the fact that I think the police actually probably know what happened to Mohbad in their investigation. But because the issue have been fractalized and sectionalized, and a lot of factions have happened. This one is team A, team B, team C. In order not to cause a public uproar, they will say, okay, let's make all the whole party see themselves as win-win, lose-lose. And we're going to say nothing happened to this guy. Because if they say, okay, it is this person that did it, the other team will attack this person. If they say this is the person that did it, the other team will attack this person. So I think going forward, when we have issues like this, instead of us, any of those taking opinion to take side, we should all, first of all, go for a common front and ask for who exactly is involved. We don't want to know if it is his wife or this brother or the father or anything. Once we have established, hold on, sir. Once we have established that, then we can now start attacking the person who is being indicted. But the system has failed us. We agreed, and those of us who are analysts ourselves, including me, we have also failed this case to make the police now hide under something to actually now kill this case, Senator, which I believe is going to help us out.
I understand. I mean, Senator, the police should run the investigation and establish the truth because you don't want to because you don't want fracas. I mean, you bust my head. I don't understand. Okay,
I never said they don't want fracas. I said the issue has been fracalized to the extent we start pointing to different people, we start changing our narrative.
Because the police should be objective without making the investigation based on any form of fracas or not. Does fracas influence the police investigation or interrogation?
Senator, just forget that Senator, just forget that you asked that one. Let's ask
another one.
Let's move to the next
police should take cognizance of fracas and don't do their job and then play games.
That is Nigerian police I'm talking about.
No. Police is police, either Nigerian or American or British.
If it is in America, where I live,
that's what we're calling them to do. They should do their job.
There was a case where I live here. A prostitute was killed. The police came on the spot, condoned the area, sealed up everywhere, and took sample tests of your saliva of everybody in that vicinity. It was not even the suspect that called the police. It was just an eyewitness who said she suspects somebody is dead in that house. Within the next 5 minutes, the police were there.
No, that's not what we're talking about. You're saying you're inferring that the police should.
I said in Nigerian setting. I said in Nigeria. Because I've seen it happen several times. Where a case is
you cannot use fracas. You cannot use
now
country.
Okay, sir. Look at this.
Senator, you can't use
SARS that just happened.
Hold on.
Look at the police.
Senator, you cannot use
the
country.
police would have indicted some people who killed innocent Nigerians, but they didn't make it public.
You cannot use country, okay, or the.
Let's just move on.
You can't use the frailties or the weaknesses in the system to justify the police negligence. It's impossible. You think the police has their own job and they must do their job, and their job and their result that they put out should not be based on any consideration of fracas or not. And that's what we're asking them to do. They should come and do their job, and nobody should support the police for not coming out to do their job because of any fracas or not. The fracas is for the public. It has nothing to do with police duty. So that's what we're trying to say.
Thank you. Please, I would like to state.
Forget about the country. It might be America, it might be United States, it might be Nigeria or whatever. The thing is, the reasons why the police is not, we can't say the reasons police are not putting out the real stuff, real investigation just because that is fracas and they don't want fracas. That's why they didn't want to put it all out. That does not make any sense, man. We're not in kindergarten now. I don't like the way you're talking, sir.
Okay, hold on, sir. Do you think if this mobile died in US, do you think the way our Nigerian police handle this case is how it will be handled? Let's talk about that. That's why I said the system has failed us.
The reasons why the police did not do their job is not because of fracas. Okay, it's not because they want to pay attention to any form of fracas.
Senator, you are seeing the truth. You are just dodging from.
Okay, it's not because they're saying fracas. There might be some kind of compromise, political compromise or some kind of high-level conspiracy by the police.
Can we not focus on Senator, please? Let's not focus on
just because they don't want to do their job.
If he has questions, let him ask. If he has questions, you can ask.
It doesn't make any sense.
If he has any question, let him ask. But this question is asking. We need to move on from it.
Okay, Mr. Titus. Okay, Naimoli, what's up?
I have a question to
I'd like you to pay attention to the question. No, I want to go off. I've been here since, I don't know, over many hours. I need to go off. So, Aristocrat, please pay attention. And Senator, so while we're all talking about all these things that the police are not, handling, recently Karimo came out saying WUNMi was about to travel out. In this case of homicide, was it appropriate? Because one of those people that says they are, WUNMi's friends, that they were both here earlier on the panel, and they were saying they've spoken to her and everything, claiming that she was meant to, they were given an instance that maybe she had already filled a visa form. She wanted to travel before, but after this incident happened, she chose to move the date forward. And I asked the question that why would you want to travel now? Why not even just cancel it? Let this justice be settled before you plan to travel. So I want to understand, during a case like this, is it appropriate for the prime suspects or the people or the wife or the brother or the sibling or anybody who was at the crime scene, is it okay for the person to leave the country? Then another thing I want to ask is, she confessed about 7 people were in the room. She didn't say it in her CTC, right? She has been saying every other thing, but this is in Sahara Reporters. Based on what I read, she said that there were 7 people with the nurse and Mohbad in the room when it was being injected. And I'm wondering, how come those 7 people weren't listed? Why haven't we seen their, testimonies? Because they need to testify. We need to have them at the court to be questioned. So what do you think about this? Because I'm just adding the parts where maybe the officers, I'm thinking that they might have failed. And I hope they are actually looking into it to correct themselves. So please.
In the same climb, you see all those 7 people, if they have international passports, it will have been seized by now, be under surveillance. So even WUNMi going to the airports to seek for probably travel stuff, which was rejected, shouldn't have even come in place in the first place. Yeah. And that's why I said the system keeps failing us as citizens. Because if somebody dies within your vicinity, everybody, even your neighbor, becomes a suspect until it is established that, okay, you are free, you are prime, or you will be a star witness. But as it is today, like I said, I will still say it again, the police have indirectly concluded their investigation on this case and trying to wash their hands off and say, hey, we don't know who kills it. If you know who kills it, then you go ahead and do your own investigation and prosecute and follow up the case. So I think that's why I said the police and the system have failed us and they keep failing us. So what we need to do to look at how do we now strengthen the system so that we can get justice without even doing all this, going through all this long process of just looking for who killed somebody within 8 or 9 months, and every clues have been analyzed and exposed, and the police is looking the other way around as if they are not even existing.
It is the police that should come out and do their job. If you say that the police have somehow concluded the investigation, then it's their job to also make the investigation public, just as they made the preliminary report public, and to clear some of the misconceptions and errors that have been stated in the preliminary report. It is the job of the police to come out, and I don't think it's wise for us to come out and be making excuses for the police.
Exactly.
They should do their job.
I'm telling you what is in reality in Nigeria of today. If I were to be elsewhere, I have confidence that I will get justice. Even if I am not a citizen of a country, example, US now, even if I'm just an ordinary person, if I call the cops, if you threaten me that I'm going to deal with you, I have confidence that if I call the cops today, in the next 5 minutes, they will arrive.
Yeah.
But as a citizen of Nigeria, can I call the cops if somebody is even pointing gun at me? That's where we find ourselves today.
Of course, we can't call the police.
When Mohbad wrote petition, it's because it is involving people that matters. That's why he died. He died down.
If someone points a gun at you or beats you or assaults you in public, it's a job to report to the police so that you can have a record of it.
We
didn't answer you. That is another question.
The question of the lovely lady. This is what I'm going to say. WUNMi is not a suspect in this matter.